So what we're going to do is sort of track three qualities of modernity that seem to go together, okay? And much of what we're going to do early on is we're going to emphasize, so let's just put this, the three sort of master traits of modernity, okay? These are the three things that tend to be present in modernity, or at least that are claimed to be present in modernity, or at least that we want to be present in modernity, all right? So one is an economy that is based upon industrial capitalism. I don't think there's anyone who misses this, okay? And this is a lot of what we're doing this unit, is understanding industrial capitalism now as an economic system, so that we can understand modernity as the social structure and culture that's built upon industrial capitalism, okay? So a lot of what we're doing now is trying to understand this master trait. What is industrial capitalism? How has it evolved over time? What are some of the good parts about it? What are some of the worries about it? That kind of thing. So we're going to spend a lot of time on industrial capitalism. Two, a political system. And when people talk about modernity, one of the huge positives is that it creates a political system of democracy, or at least representative institutions of some kind, okay? So we at least move towards democracy and towards representative politics of some kind, okay? Moving away from the rule of kings, moving away from the rule of lords, moving away from the rule of warrior chieftains, right? And moving towards democracy. So again, both of these things are widely held to be the core sort of institutional programming of modernity. Industrial capitalism, democracy, or representative politics of some kind. Now there's a third trait that is easy to miss. Oddly enough, German sociologists have never lost sight of this. It's really the Germans who keep this third trait central to their work, all right? And it is the creation of, you can call it of individuals, or of individual character, that emphasizes, and this is a crucial term, autonomous subjectivity. All right, and you're going to find this expressed in different ways in different slides. But the basic idea is, think of subjectivity is sort of the sum total of your view of the world and view of self. It's really your stream of consciousness. And if you remember back to Emil Durkheim, Durkheim claimed that individual consciousness is something that modernity creates instead of collective consciousness, which is what had dominated in traditional society. This focus on consciousness, on individual character, on individuality, on autonomy, all right, is something that, again, that especially German analysts of modernity have really emphasized, okay? So autonomous subjectivity refers to a view of self in the world that is self-directed, self-controlled, self-managed, truly individual. You are a particular being in the world with your own view of the world, okay? So these are the three, here they are. These are the three master traits of modernity. Industrial capitalism is an economic system. Something like democracy or representative politics is the political system. And then individual autonomy or individual subjectivity or autonomous subjectivity, again, it's put in different ways, as the essential character structure of people in the modern world, okay? We're going to work this through. We're going to emphasize, the big thing we're going to emphasize, the relationship between economy and society. Economy and society, okay? So, this is Max Weber's, title of Max Weber's biggest work, Economy and Society. What we're going to claim is this. In traditional societies, the economy, I'll use my right hand as the economy, okay? The economy, the institution, the patterned way that people go about producing the needs of life. Housing, shelter, food, clothing, really good videos, right? All of that kind of stuff, right? The way that we go about producing the needs of life, that's the economy. In traditional society, the economy is not the master institution. Instead, the economy is a support of life. So, this is the image that we're going to have, and if you can just sort of picture this in your head, you can draw a couple of hands of a word. The economy in traditional society is controlled by the rest of life. It is contained by the rest of life. Politics, religion, family, education, socialization, all of these things keep the economy in check. In the famous words of Max Weber that we're going to talk about today, in traditional society, you did not live to work. Instead, you worked to live. You worked to live. In modern society, people live to work. Okay? So, traditional society, working, producing, making things is a support of a meaningful way of life. If you're conservative or traditional, you get a really good strong sense of this, right? This is what life is about. You have a meaningful way of life in the economy. Your work life is just a way to support it. In modernity, you want to be getting that overturned, where the economy breaks free and all of us wind up giving up our life, giving up the pursuit of politics, giving up the pursuit of individual autonomy in order to fit within the economic system. So modern people have a tendency to live in order to work. You go to school not to grow your mind, you go to school to get a job. You don't move to a community that you want to live in, you move to a community that has a job, right? Right? Makes sense? You don't spend your evenings when you're in your 30s playing with your children. You're going to spend your evenings working unpaid overtime as a salaried middle-class person, so that you can, because that's what you do. You live in order to work. Okay, so here's the key features of the medieval economy. Okay, so what went on in the production of goods and services in each one of these manners? All right, here are the features of it. Number one, the needs of life were met by direct production for use, not market exchange. Okay? Now that seems simple, right? What you do is you live a life of direct production for use. Modernity is completely the opposite. Virtually none of our economic life is spent producing something for use. Instead, we are almost entirely focused upon producing for market exchange. We do things we don't need. We make things we don't need for ourselves so that we can sell it or sell our labor so that we can buy the things we need. We've talked about that before, okay? Work is a support of meaningful life, not the meaning of life, okay? Political stability was more important than economic activity. This is so important. For the 800 years or so of the Middle Ages, these manors and the lords who lived on the manors, they didn't care about getting maximum profit out of the land that they controlled. They didn't care. They needed political stability. So your goal as a lord was to be supported in your aristocratic life so that you could be an effective military knight for your overlord, right? I mean, it wasn't about maximizing production. It was about reproducing life and maintaining political stability, okay? So this whole idea that the purpose of economic activity is to maximize profit, gone. It isn't here. Think about this. So most of the production in these manors was to be used inside. It was for direct use, but there might be a little bit that's going to be out here, and this is going to be the surplus. Can you guys see this? That's the surplus that can be exchanged. This is all the stuff that you're going to use, but there's a little bit of surplus for exchange. Okay. But unlike modern exchange, the stuff that you produce to sell or exchange happens on the fringes of economic activity, not the center. Okay, so that's why I've got it off here. What you're doing with the economy is producing for use. There might be a little bit that's on the side for exchange. Okay, it's on the fringe. When goods are exchanged, the stuff that you make out here that you don't need, that you exchange, when you exchange it, it is rare that you use money. You almost always exchange for other goods in a direct barter relationship.
When accountants didn't have control and the media couldn't buy your soul, when computers were still scary and we didn't know everything. Oh, I wish I was a punk rocker with flowers in my hair. In 77 and 69, revolution was in the air. I was born too late into a world that doesn't care.